Hi, folks. Nick Tockert here with the Historical Fencing Guild, and we've got a really exciting week. Exciting, an exciting. I need more caffeine. An exciting episode this week. Fueled as usual by Walmart knockoff Black Cherry. This was asked because I appeared on a lovely program hosted by the incredible Brian K. Morris, the ranking master of all things independent publishing and the king of Rising Tide Publishing. I was on his clever title pending. I'll try to share the link either in this video. Had a great time. He's my regular morning chat confidant. And I am so thankful because Mr. Morris, Brian has become my next patron. So he's actually helping keep the lights on for you guys. So I'm really, truly grateful for that. And this program is brought to you by, first and foremost, The Simple Sword, the Historical Fencing Guild's Manual of Defense, Volume 1. This is an older copy, but because my newer copy is actually on loan. Sucker, it's right here. But I like to help my friends out. It is also brought to you by my assorted other works on Amazon at www.amazon.com/author/Nicholas Tockert. That's me. Well, I also, I'd say I'm going to give a shout out to my other patrons, the amazing Steve Agosto, and the talented and lovely Cindy Kep, who will not be joining us tonight because tonight is her second 25th birthday. I'm really glad that she's reached that milestone of being 25 twice. So that's as high as it goes, folks. I don't care. 25, get all the fun, none of the responsibilities, rock with it. All right. Now, what we're talking about today. Well, guys, I've been on a little bit of a journey. I have told you guys last month that I was going to start going through this. This is George S. Patton's, the general from World War II's 1914 Saber Exercise Manual. And it is a fascinating read, which through quite by accident, I found incredibly sassy. Now bear with me, because George Patton and sassy are not two words often associated, but it was born from a glance and then explained that, that makes perfect sense. You see, this is a very unique manual from a very unique perspective. That being, first off, it is a saber and is not an infantry saber. It is a mounted saber manual. And the closest, during the period leading up for hundreds of years, what people think of as a saber was definitely curved. Now, George S. Patton did not want a curved saber because he wanted a straight weapon, very similar to this. There are differences, but this is a reasonable facsimile from my personal collection. This is live steel. It has a very distinct patina, and it is a weapon of both pride and no small amount of intimidation. This is not one I want to encounter the ceiling fan. You'll notice the heavy blood grooves, the actually eye-shaped cross-section. It's fascinating, and while it does have a distal taper, it is an incredibly rigid. This is a thrust first / then weapon, and it is really beautiful. It's neat because when you look, I was looking at Patton's saber from a glance, like I always do. Let's be honest. The first thing I do when I grab a manual is flip through the images, and you see some really, really interesting images because, as you can see, that looks pretty straightforward, very standard, even though he has very much a horse stance. Well, I'm looking at that, and then I see something that just go. Let me find it. You look at that. Now, from the perspective of somebody on foot, at a glance, this baffled me. Because, I'm going, what is a reverse lunge with a back bend? What in the name of Keanu Reeves is this? This is a military manual. You're not expecting swirly stuff. Then you have to realize most fencing manuals are from the infantryman or the duelist. It is a guy on the ground dealing with things that may or may not be on the ground. This beautiful little volume, which I snaked on Amazon for like $8, is about mounted swordsmanship. And he slips. I see the term lance come slipping through. That's what this is. This lovely sword is almost more intended to be a lance. Straight arm, running through your opponent, but coming loose to lop ahead as you go galloping by. It is a weapon of beauty and precision, and the style was revolutionary and hotly debated. How, its overall effect I have to dig into because I'm just getting into this. This is me getting to have a little bit of researcher fun, folks. And thank you for the like. Got two watchers, one like. Be sure to comment, questions, interrupt me. I will prattle until interrupted. And then it goes on. This should be organic. But, so I'm really fascinated as I look through at the training for because you're training not just rider, you're training horse and rider as a unit. This is really interesting. I don't see that in period texts all that often. The vast majority of the time, what you find are self-defense or basic military texts. Oh, yes, John Meyer is joining us. Great to hear from you, John. He says, almost similar to George Washington's sword. Absolutely. While Europeans are quite notorious for making fun of the swords of the American military, and there are a few that are dubious, I will admit, if only because they were formed after the period of swordsmanship was, primarily a battlefield skill. So they get a little different. But no, the colonial swords, see, this is one of my favorite periods because that's where my beloved Bilbo. This is a Spanish straight infantry sword. This is fascinating stuff for me. And realizing the body mechanics of adjusting 360-degree contact when you can't spin. So that means, grabbing something vaguely. If we took the, if we took my beloved trigger grip off, this would be a very nice light simulacrum of that sword. But I have to be able to, as a right-hander, thrust at people coming at my rear left quadrant. Whereas as a swordmaster, I would, on foot just be like, swivel, you stay facing your opponent. This has down angle shots. The lunge, it's fascinating because I see the word lunge, and the lunge is essentially a stooping motion. Very, very, let me see if I can get enough room here. I dropped some things during my last show. It's very stooped and advancing. That is fascinating. And it's just I'm an infantryman. I don't want anyone to accuse me of false flags, so I don't want that taken out of context. When I look at how I study the sword, it is from somebody who is a foot, either in a unit or individual. Very classic infantry. Although I fully admit I am a fat civilian, I am not military in any way, shape, or form. Even if I misspeak for a second, please don't ever think I'm claiming any kind of stolen valor. I would never do that. But that being said, and pardon that caveat, I'm very passionate on the subject of stolen valor and very irked by individuals who run false flags. I'm a little behind in my studies. I wanted a much more cohesive explanation on this, but I may not be the person to really go into this. It is fascinating because, like I said, this is equestrian, and that's a whole dynamic. Aside from jousting on dirt bikes, shut up. I was young and dumb. And the statute of limitations is over, so I can't get yelled at. This is fascinating, and I do like the basically the construction plans for a dummy so you can practice your decapitations. Isn't that lovely? I'm sorry, that's just delightful. But what else is great, and I can't wait to dig into it, is there was so much controversy. I'm sorry, these have been riding with me, and they are of the nearly pocket size, so I read books, and sometimes they get a little beat up. This one came bent in the mail anyway. But this is articles where he's defending his sword. Because you have to understand, a saber in almost every historical thing, with the exception I find of a couple of the Spanish systems. Remember, they like their thrusts, the Spaniards. Now, the Stress will lop your head off while they're walking by you and make you think some other guy did it. But they do like their straight swords. Now, I wonder how much of that is just a permutation of colonial, or if it's more combat away from armored sources. It's a fascinating thing to contemplate, because pad and saber is not, well, I mean, there's literally to this day raging disputes. And we're talking names like Matt Easton weighs in on this fairly regularly, that this is not properly a saber. This is a bizarre. Oh, and remember, this isn't exactly it. This is roughly of that period. One of two I purchased, and I don't buy swords often, but I don't also fall in love with them lightly, and I absolutely adore these, even though they're a bit long for my comfort grip. Let me see. I don't think John Miner could get his hand in it, but I think you'd enjoy the heck out of this. Just a devastating little weapon. Much longer than what I normally favor. But I'm just getting into this book. Anybody who is interested in swords, and the evolution, especially the transition away from swords. 1914 is a period in time where the world gets real interesting. This is almost in competition or running parallel with the 1911, semi-automatic auto-loading pistol. The 45. When somebody says 45, they usually mean 1911. That's just old school anyway. This is a sword that comes from the same period, the same military background. This is fascinating stuff. So I really am looking forward to deep diving. And for me, because my background was so focused on Renaissance and earlier, and really because I was SCA, I had to fight for the periods that interest me. And much of what I really loved was either way out of period or just hard to manifest and keep within that 500 to 1500, because I'm a big fan of 1880s fencing. I'm a big the time. There are certain periods of time of transition. You know, J. Michael Straczynski wrote, and pardon if I butcher his name, speech impediment, it's no disrespect. For Babylon 5, he said there are only two kinds of moments: those of transformation or those of transition. This felt of both. And that, historically, the window between World War I and World War II is such a fascinating period. And the lead up to that, this is a time where it's like, remember, we as a species went into World War I never grasping what that kind of conflict could be like. It was technological horrors visited upon the masses. Previous wars were very lopsided. As a large part, one army would just roll over another. That's right. John says straight blades were more for piercing work, while the curved saber is more for slashing unarmored work, where deeper cuts are more prevalent in closer quarters. And I looked at that and I kept wanting to, yes, but why would Patton, who Patton is an interesting figure, not just from a tactician, but from a mentality. Not many people know this, but my family has a semi-unofficial motto of keep charging the enemy as long as there is life. And that's a very Patton thing. So I think Patton's approach to the sword really is almost unjust from what I am seeing. Now, in a week when I've had a chance to pore over this, I may change my mind. But what I am seeing from his attitude and delivery is that, again, to him, this isn't just a saber, okay? This is really meant much more as a sort of short lance. And if you look at the way he fights with it, largely, that hybrid, this isn't just thrusting with you. That's why, the spine on something like this, and again, this isn't that exact kind of sword, but it's as close as I can imagine. They had very simple, this very thick, bulky spear rattle. That is this pin right here. So it's not an instability in the blade, but there is incredibly little flex in this, especially from somebody who's used to sporting blades like I am. This is meant to run someone through. It will kill, but I have never done a chop test. I may have to. I just don't want to damage it. So I'm not sure. We'll see on that. Maybe in the spring. But it's fascinating. And yes, I am touching bare because I need to take an oil and WD-40 and polish a bunch of things. So it's just going on the pile that was planned. The evolution, I mean, this is a sword that went out against aeroplanes. I mean, this is the transition from the last vestiges of a agricultural animal husbandry. I'm not finding the right term, but for an equestrian, let's just keep it simple, an equestrian army to a mechanized one. This is a radically different transition in tactics, in attitudes, in ideology. It's fascinating, and this is both this style and perhaps the weapon attributed to it, which I want to look more into the precise nature of his sword, is it's fascinating. Because look, I mean, these are people adapting. War hadn't changed. Okay, you have war. You have increased and improved bows. You have increased and improved artillery, and then you have the firearm hit the scene, and armor comes, armor goes, and you almost reversed back to a form of the rapier in that if people aren't wearing armor and you're coming fast, a thrust will really mess their world up. It's fascinating. I would love to see the kit that this was a integral piece of, because whenever you're looking at the military guys, you have to step out of the Rambo mentality. Okay, we watch TV, we read books, comic books, movies, whatever, and it's one man alone against the forces of Memnon's army. Cue oiled up rock and some Godsmack in the background. And really, even so much as the larger conflicts of recreation groups, you're going to find you have tip of the spear guys, literally and metaphorically. Front end, then you have rear lines, then you have support, you have water bearers, which, medic type characters. The logistics of large group combat, even in as fictional as a setting as the SCA or a LARP, or even airsoft. The good teams aren't lone guys running around going, no, they're laying out the rules. They're laying out firing solutions. They're laying out the tools to get the job done. And then there are people behind, loading and maintenance and feeding everybody and latrine duty and all these other things that have to be done so that, the men on the end, and I'm using that gender neutral, by the way, but, the humans on the end, whatever, are able to engage the enemy with support and without having to be concerned. Because optimally, a soldier should have to worry very little about their background, about what else is going on. They should be able to go out, do their job, and then have every chance of coming home safe, in my humble opinion. But, so I'm going to deep dive the archer stands alone in defense to hold the bridge. And that, I love, John, I love that. I love the heroism. Owl Flight, he's referencing in part a book called Owl Flight by Mercedes Lackey, and as well as the soundtrack by Moonwolf and company, a bunch of other singers, but primarily Michael Longore. The On the Bridge, but even listening to the song, fighting from afar is clean and clear, and it's easy. Fighting hand to hand isn't, especially when you have no one at your back. And that's there are things that I keep finding myself coming back to over and over again. Whether we're looking at the sporting fun side of things, or we're looking at the realistic side of things, when he has to resort to the sword. Exactly. You don't want to do it alone because it's nearly impossible to be done alone. I run in many circles and I encounter many people, and you would be staggered to know how many people, when they're alone, they're talking to me in confidence, pretty much think they're John frickin' Wick, okay? They're gonna center line and all this crazy stuff. And there are when I say these creatures, I mean, guys, I just did a paranormal defense review. And if I had to list Nick's absolute scariest paranormal beasties to encounter, I would honestly, I would say the modern special forces. As a fat civilian, they're scarier because the only rules they're going to play by is they have to get the job done. It's not fantasy, it's not fun time. So they are terrifying, and I think it's why. Well, been there, done that. Held time until it was enforced, but not something I want to do again. Now, John, here's the other horrible caveat. Are you referring to a time when you were holding the bridge in an SCA bout? One of the Penzic Wars, or are you referring to a time where you were holding the bridge metaphorically or literally against very real attackers, threats, actual life threatening? Because it's scary as stuff to do stuff in the SCA, I'll admit it. But at the end of the day, you probably won't die. And the problem I'm finding, especially right now, I have political views. I will admit them. I admit that I have them. Where did that go? I was going to show you guys something very cool, and I seem to have set it down, and that makes me alarmed because that's very cool. Anyway, here it is. Political views, folks. Whoop. Political views. Gummer 2020. Don't be a bummer, vote for Gummer. But all joking aside, and that is a joke, but I did get this in the mail. I'm insanely happy about this, so it will be going on my wall of Fool. It's different when it's like I've had 6, 8, 10 people pursue me at points in my life with the intent to do bodily harm. And I've had 6, 8, 10 people pursue me because we were in the middle of a melee drill, or we're just fencing, or fighting. See, that's the thing. I have the reason I'm saying that is because I know I kind of gave you a leading question, John. I know more of your background than most people, and I'm proud to know it. During your firefighting career, you did things that other people can't imagine, and some of the other stuff. But it had to be expressed for the people who are listening, because you aren't the target audience when I'm talking about this. The guys, a man has got to know his limitations. I say this because, there's a lot of political unease. There's a lot of concern right now. And I am big on, I've said my piece to the people who need to hear it politically. I went out and voted. I went out and voted 2 years ago. I've got out and voted every time I can. So I've done my part there. And I will be honest, I am observing. I do believe I observe people, and I factor their decisions in my tactical assessment of them. It's not necessarily a moral thing. It's not a judgmental thing, because it's not my job to judge. There is an assessment. There is a difference between assessment and judging. And John says understood. But in this case, there are people right now who, right or wrong, from whatever side, they're scared, they're angry, they feel betrayed, and there's a temptation to lash out with violence. And most of these people are people who've had very limited exposure to violence. Now, as I have made clear, I'm a short, fat, furry little man. I'm a civilian with one leg shorter than the other, who they wouldn't get because I literally wouldn't march in a straight line. I'd just go in a circle all day. But I've been shot at and missed, and pooped at and hit, and I don't care to repeat those things. I am not in a profession where I have to. I have been in professions where violence was involved on various degrees, and I've been in situations where violence has been involved. Hi, Steph. Hi. Oh, we're joined by the beautiful. Well, she goes by Morningstar 2342, but that's Steph, folks. You guys have seen her. She's the cute little chick with the who rocks double axes when the world is right and just. Someday, folks, when this whole storm blows over and we are back to being our good and noble selves, we will be hacking at each other merrily, and we won't be afraid of conflict. But I will tell you, we have to be careful, not only in our mental attitudes, but our perceptions. I have had people completely misconstrue what I do. To the point, yes, hacking. To the point of having potential legal issues, interactions with the police. But yeah, no more bouncing in seedy places. No more bailing people out of seedy places that didn't have proper bouncers in my case. But old age and treachery has served me well long before I had the old age. I just was like extra treacherous, God, I am the worst paladin ever. Sorry, that is a long-standing joke that predates me knowing anyone here. Probably. There are a couple of people who are watching who I don't know who they are. And yes, folks, for the curious, it is the same black cherry that fueled my caffeine-powered rant on Clever Title Pending this last Tuesday night. You really should look it up. I had a lot of fun with Brian K. Morris and the Nevermorians. Well, in this case, the Pendarians, because he does another show called Never Mind the Furthermore, in which I frequently chat and terrorize because that's who I am. But yeah, guys, peace is a better idea. Whatever side of the spectrum you're on, you don't want it. You don't want it. Blood sucks. Well, hello! We are blessed and visited by the incredibly talented Brian K. Morris of Rising Tide Publications. And it was a grand rant, sir. It is always a privilege to interact with you. John Miner says, a night without honor in a savage land. No, not that, Paladin. The show's older than the comment, but it's okay. Something an old friend said to me a long time ago that stuck. But then again, I'm a guy who doesn't hold many nicknames, and the ones I do are usually very diverse. But I went out with some friends of my buddy Steve. Most stars, Steve. And Steve pops in. Looks around. Where? But I went out and walk in and it's a group that meets up at Holly's in Michigan City. Really good wings, by the way. I come in and all these people are sitting there. Way back, there's a guy. He's got looks almost ZZ Top, dark hat, dark glasses. Everybody's chatting, and his glasses slide down a little bit, and I hear Satan. To which I reply, Shades? Tommy. Oh, God, you don't know how funny that is. Oh, God, Steve, you don't know how funny you yelling Tommy is when I'm talking to John Miner. I hope he's doing well, by the way. If you see that roguish ex-roommate of mine, you give him my best and hope he's staying out of trouble. If not, I still need that shiny rock before anything can happen. But ciao. Okay, but we're still rolling down. Now, he's engaged. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Wrong Tommy. Believe it or not, I actually only knew him as Shades for the entire time we were in college together. Ironically, he knew me by my name. It's just He happened to meet me shortly after my ex-swordmaster actually stood up in the middle of the cafeteria, slammed his bulbous, rotting, oily-skinned hands on the table, yelling at my advisor, "Why don't you understand that Nick Tuckert is Satan?" And it boomed through the room. And being me, I was coming into the cafeteria, having heard this, so I took my flannel up in my best Bela Lugosi and jumped in the room and went, "I have arrived." Because I'm a terrible, terrible person. I'm much better than I used to be, folks. But yes, no, wow, what a random trip down memory lane. Poor Brian's like, is every week this nutty? The answer is yeah. You see, well, Brian, it took me all shift to get through the whole bottle for yours, and I am on my second, and I'm halfway through of the lovely caffeinated glory that keeps my heart pumping. Hey, at least this nutty. What? At least this nutty? Now I want a payday. Anyway, but yeah, you guys all thank Brian because his joining has helped me, get through the lovely, lovely tension of today. I have been not watching most of the news other than the stuff that people keep yelling at me, because apparently folks will take offense if you refuse to be flustered. So yeah, I was up late last night dealing with people who needed somebody to talk to, which shockingly, guys, you need somebody to talk to. Well, I'm long-winded and got nothing better to do. No, a lot of folks are suffering. I want to help them through it, but I see a lot of kinds of suffering. There are the people who know they're suffering, but they're watching a train wreck, being the election or current events or whatever. And to them, all I can say is, guys, that old serenity prayer thing is a good idea. You got to look at things, and we have to be critical for our own health, not just of truth or false or anything, but our interaction and how much it actually overlaps. I don't get caught up in things like a lot of people. I don't get in the I'm this mob, and it never has been. It's very awkward to be at concerts where everyone else around me is getting rolled, and I'm like, I am enjoying this concert. I don't know. But part of it is you have to go, is it worth devoting your energy to? There are people clutching the tail because they're panicked. Things, if you voted, there is nothing you can do about the outcome. It's already been decided, theoretically. If the system works, it's been decided. They'll tally it up. One dude will have more than the other dude. And whatever happens, we will have some old white dude as the president, theoretically, in January 20th. That's a certainty. Can you change it? No. Is it decided? No. But we have been trained to get wound up by television because that boosts ratings. Keep it informed, but don't. If it's consuming you, back away. Do something else. Get family together. Play big stumpy robots. Blow things up. Works better if the book's upside up. But I don't judge. No, my point being, we have to, this whole bizarre news system, and I'm not talking about facts. Facts are crucial, but the tension, the fear, the it's tearing everyone apart, and we're losing our humanity. Now, yes, there are people who have beliefs I radically oppose. And I will be honest, I hold them accountable for those beliefs and their associations. It tells me about their character. And if being judged on their character offends anyone, that's okay. You may either change your character or accept that that's what's going to happen. You grow or you stagnate. That's on you. But I still, I'm still processing. But you can't let yes, find a school if you need a release of stress. Yeah, guys, we can't let this consume us. I just got a message from Steve. Because of the rating on this channel, I will not express it, but I will say this abso-fraggin-lutely, man. Absolutely. If that's what you're, yeah. But, yeah. Be moved by things that better you, that empower you. Create, study, read about this goofy. It sounds like I'm demeaning it, and I'm really not. I'm fascinated. It's just such a different. As somebody who's been working as a swordsman from the ground up, can I ride a horse? Yes, I can actually ride a horse. I have ridden horses. My grandfather at one point one of my grandfathers raised horses. I don't dislike horses, but they're dangerous on both ends and uncomfortable in the middle. So I'm not a horse guy, and I accept that. My wife is a devout horse girl. She rode Western Pleasure and can do all the things. So I'm going to try to get her to look into this for her own entertainment. She might find it interesting. But my point, Steve, when I can go to the rodeo, when I can go out without my mind running the passive statistics of contracting the unspeakable danger bug. I don't want to take Brian's lovely turn of phrase, so I won't. I'm gonna be good. Has nothing to do with the fact I'm not sure I could get it out of my mouth today, but when all is well, on my list of things, I'm going to try to come down. And if you're still involved in the rodeo, see the rodeo. If not, I'm going to come down to the great Republic of state of Texas and see what other wonders you have to offer. We've discussed many such things, and it will be great. I also, ignorance sometimes, folks. This is totally off topic. It is historical, but it's not very fencing. Ignorance can be more safer because sometimes, when you know horrors, you can't forget them. Sometimes when you know glories, you can't forget them. And there is a restaurant in Sister Bay, Wisconsin. It's called Al Johnson's. And they have the world's best pancakes. Lingonberry pancakes. And then these fiendish, evil people who have these really cute goats on the roof of their restaurant make they make a smoked goat cheese that I will admit I am a fatty and I will continue being a fatty in pursuit of this stuff. It makes you weak. John's talking about the easy chair and the glass of bourbon. You know what? My world is real simple. My life is not my own. Now you can stop. Whatever I want, whatever I may not, my life is not my own. I am a father. I am a husband. I have duties. And I will do them to the best of my ability as long as I can. And that means, I can't afford sometimes to travel in circles I used to, because some of the things that I used to do were dangerous. They were necessary. By some people's conversations, noble. But they were dangerous and the kind of things that can follow you home. And I have a home I don't want stuff to follow me to. There has to be a point where you've done your time on the front line and you back up. You put your hands in the air and you say, yeah, this is out there. I fought that part of the good fight. I'm fighting this part of the good fight now. And John, that's where you are. I keep harping on John to Steve a bit much harder because a lot of what I would have Steve write, he has to get declassified. But John is an accomplished swordsman. He's an accomplished instructor, an accomplished martial artist. He is of an age where he has acquired more than several people's lifetimes, in all honesty, of what we do. And he knows what I know, what we all know we don't talk about is we're all mortal. Unless I've got an immortal floating around here. And thank you, Steph. I almost missed your paladins are cool F off because that does my black little heart well. Yeah, they're young men. But you know what there aren't, John? There aren't people who have that experience to write it down. And that's why in part why I had to write The Simple Sword. Because I know if I get hit by a bus, this has been my passion for 20 years now. I've been teaching people to sword fight for 20 years, almost my entire adult life. I learned enough in the group to start passing it on, and then I just became a conveyor belt. I mean, you drove people nuts. As soon as I learned something, got it figured out, I'm like, here, I'm showing you. And John's got quite a bit on me. So and this is why I'm really glad that Brian's at least lurking. He's hopping between two very, very talented shows, at least, and I'm somewhere in there. But, John, you need to write it. You write it, I can get you in contact with a good publisher. I know a guy. He wears a fez. If you don't want to go the direct Amazon route. But there's an obligation. The art has given so much to us, we have to give back to the art. We train students, and then we leave a memoir. That is... It's got to be a code of being a gentleman. Whatever your passion is, folks, and I don't care what it is. That sounds jaded, but I really don't. If your passion is cooking, write a freaking cookbook. You know, if your passion is long range marksmanship, again, I'm thinking in the circles I travel. Write that. If you're a music teacher, write music. Oh, I got some. You know, but please, 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 please get it down. Because we don't know, especially in the middle of a pandemic, who's going to make it. I deal with two very loud forces in my life. One loud force are individuals who, regardless of political or education or whatever, are so caught up in the discomfort of what's going on. Oh, I was telling everybody that if you have a thing you love, you need to write about it, and so that you can instruct it after you're gone. But these two forces, it's not going on. And then the people who are like, Nick, I just lost so and so. The ambulance has been going through. My neighbor got taken away. I'm not sure which one yet. But knowing where they work, I can throw the dice and probably have a good idea why. These are scary times. And if given the triage of, I am uncomfortable, I am dying, I will go for the dying. Oh. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Adrian Dinwiddie, Sabah, incredibly talented swordsman, former NFL player, hell of a gentleman. Just pull whatever you want, hell of a gentleman. And I hope he's doing well. And that's my point. All this is going on. We can get consumed by it. But I'm not going to let you. I'm going to say, take a moment. Those of you who are home and have somebody to spar with, now's a great time to get in shape. Because whatever happens, getting in better shape, training, trying to get healthier will serve you well. If you're of an age and you have expertise, write that down. It will serve others well. That's a way of paying it forward. But whatever you do, keep it in that perspective of smoothness, of building up. That's why I love Brian K. Morris, Rising Tide. A rising tide lifts all boats. That's why he called his publishing company Rising Tide. Now, long-time viewers should not be surprised by me wanting to be associated with that. Send you some Cowboys Don't Fence. Well, there, Steve-O. Why don't you get yourself a nice get that wheel gun of yours out and pop some cans off the fence row and have yourself a good time. But that being said, I love wheel guns, and I do love yours. But if you're actually serious on looking for partners, I might see if I can get somebody. Get out of Texas. Go. I just saw a joke. Thank you. As again, once in a while we get a little inside Joker message in there, and a small load just got set off my shoulders. But thank you. Yeah, Steve's gonna come up, and we're gonna, like I said, humanity has a power unseen in the entire animal kingdom for predicting, for setting a goal, for having a vision of something that doesn't exist, and through sheer force of will, strength of arm, and wit, making that a reality, usually, in my opinion, with God's blessing. Whatever you perceive that to be, that's on you. That last part's on me. But we make our future. So yeah, I'm going to keep saying, I'm going to get better. I got stuff. I'm not going to lie. Now, I'm not going to give details because not everybody needs to know. But I got stuff. And I'm going to get better because I got it. That's just, I don't know if you guys can comprehend what it means when a talker says something like that. I gotta, so I'm gonna. And if I'm gonna get better, I'm gonna need people to fight. So to fight you guys and have a good time and teach and instruct and uplift and build up and get the barn rolling on, I gotta get this virus out of the way. People gotta be smart, people gotta be prepared, and people gotta not kill each other while we go through it. It's just stupid. Of all the things to get riled up over, everybody's sick or could be sick, let's kill each other, is idiotic. Now, Brother Love is in the house tonight, folks, and I'm feeling a little bit of old-fashioned Swordmaster Fire and Brimstone rolling off my lips to your ears across the nation and everywhere. I'm going to fight even better. Lost lots of white. Yeah, that's what I want to see. You have so much built-up rage. Rage fuels control. We'll forge that just like we get this stuff rolling, we'll get the forges going. And yeah, I have the really nice forge that I have to assemble, a little knife forge, but I want that old charcoal cranking in the backyard. So I'm really thinking that there's going to be a brick building project in the near future to get something with wood and charcoal and Matt, like, I swear the future is radiating all things testosterone and glorious, and I am okay with that. Yes, I want to. I want to use that anvil. It is, yeah, bring it on, Lilick. Yeah! Feel the power of love. But, somebody mail Trump a pineapple. Anyway, that was a joke, and that's only because I'm worried about the president getting enough fruit in his diet. Yeah, we're not talking about which way. But that was a joke. Jokes happen. But I love having my own channel. I'm just watching the viewership. But, okay, we are actually, the first hour already knocked out. We totally went off topic for a while there, but I think that's, avoiding scurvy is important. We got to remind you, I'm brought to you by my lovely patrons, including Steve Agosto, the guy who's been with me, my first patron from the very start. Despite everything, the man's a hero, and I get right by him. You watch. The talented and beautiful Cindy author, Cindy Kepp, CKOEPP.com. She writes an incredible amount of things. And she's celebrating her second 25th birthday today. So you guys all, if you know her, wish her second 25th birthday. She'll figure it out, I'm sure. At least she'll know who sent it. But, we're also brought to you by my book sales through Amazon. That being things like The Simple Sword. And I've got a whole bunch of other things I could show right now, but I'm just not feeling it, so let's just keep rolling. Now, there is some more news. I am watching something develop, and I'm really eager, and that's at woodenswords.com, which I have not checked yet today, so I will, on the side screen, go to our good friend Purple Heart Armory, because they are slated to have a new fencing sword. I want to hold the yeah, and I left. Hey, I held, John. I mean, I slid backwards several feet, but I held. I did not break. The ground just simply refused to hold the combined force of our mutual awesomeness. That's all. Ooh, apparently people up coupons for that. Ooh, that gin. They have a gin trainer that looks really, really pretty. But what I'm excited about from them, because I'm always looking for new fencing retailers, guys. I am on this quest, and I've been on this quest now for nearly 20 years. John's gonna laugh. Steve's gonna laugh. Steph's gonna laugh because he's watched me buy different swords and weapons. I am looking for the right sword. I have the right parry dagger. I can get this for right between 12 and 20 bucks. It works great. I can teach fencing with this. I have, where is my axe? The right axe. Also through Cold Steel. Great. This is one of my favorite trainers. I need to acquire a live steel one simply because I've used this particular trainer for so long. I am intimately acquainted with it. But, and then of course, well, here's the black one because the orange one. Oh, wait, no. I like these so much I bought two of them. These are the Cold Steel bucklers. Again, that $25 line, so it's acceptable. I am looking for a sword, but their swords suddenly turn to baseball bats. Drives me nuts. Yeah, well, John, I don't like to make the same mistake twice. I like to find new and exciting ways to screw up for the world's amusement and to test fate. Told you, oh, that's right, John. Steve said he's bringing me one with a Molly scabbard. So basically, I'm going to have fun with that. I have been getting rumbles, guys, about doing cutting videos. Now, I am not a cutting guy, either in the sense or in the, this is not how I usually train, because if you look at me, I don't usually review steel like live steel. I have some things I'll talk about. And note, you guys have been following this. Look how little of the gear paint is off. I've got a little spittle going. That's okay. I have worn this thing. I have a little concern. If you look, let me see if I can get to show up. I'm a little worried that tip might go. The very tip of it might go. That's the bottom part's a smudge, but there's a faint discoloration that makes me a little nervous right here. But danged if I don't love this knife. And if I ever have to replace it, I'll probably go back to my black drop point. But I'll probably switch the grips because I really like the green glow in the dark. I'm not that tactical, guys. I wear Hawaiian shirts, and my cane has flames of it, so I can go faster. I am replacing the tip with a glow in the dark tip because that's just cool. Oh well, Santa Steph. One, I can't think of the concept of Santa Steph without getting in trouble. I will get in trouble. I know me. I've seen me do it. But Stephanie just said, "Oh, bitch." Pardon my French, but that was funny. Now, sorry, I got distracted for a second. I need to check one thing real fast because I want to see if the picture's out for the V. No V1 basic trainer rapier. I'm not going to order it sight unseen. I mean, I have ordered things from them sight unseen, and there are a couple trainers I might, at one money acquires, get thrown that way. But I'm also, there's a lot of dispute whether I need to throw my money while I'm not training new people into getting new gear. So, sound off on where you think I should throw it. Do you guys want me to look for new gear for myself and then review that, or do you want me to look at new knives and trainers and things to review for you? The stuff I get from the guild goes to the guild. That's how I can afford to buy things like this, to see if they're any good so that you don't have to. And then if they are, I probably have 4 of these floating around. Wow, I didn't realize I could flex it. I must be getting some of my old strength back. That's a good sign. But no, you got nothing to be sorry about, Steve. You're awesome, Sauce. Heck, all of you are awesome, Sauce. But we got a lot. Oh, since I'm here, I am writing a new book. It will be a while because it's going to get delayed again, as it's behind. It's behind the axe and my wonderful project for Luke Stone, who I should be seeing later this month. Knock on, wood. But I ran into the issue of I may have ordered some things, and I'm planning to, for research on guerrilla tactics and things like that for the purpose of writing this book. But no, I will be having visitors. I will be meeting at a neutral location kind of deal because for medical concerns. But it's one of those. The deal. If you guys don't know, a couple of you may not. I am the RPG designer for the Hybrids, the Sons of Gods RPG, to go with the comic book, which just did a huge Indiegogo release and a bunch of other things. It's gone through the Kickstarter. Luke Stone is a wonderful, just a wonderful man. He's a pastor from Florida. He wrote guys, it's one of those. I could feel the interest of the universe just seeping in. I'm like, this is not boring superhero stuff. And that sounds terrible, but it's not. But I have been involved for the RPG side because of my many talents, which sounds arrogant, but I've been told apparently it's kind of snazzy. I'm doing the game. So I have to do that because that is contract work. And I know Steve and I know John definitely understand when I say I have contract work. I got contract work. It's not that kind of contract work, but I do take contracts with a near Fae-like seriousness. Speaking of, folks, did you guys get to see the 4 videos I shot for Supernatural Defense? Do you want to see more along that subject? Because I have 2 or 3 videos in the works. Yes. Yes. I'm assuming Steve's saying yes, he wants to see those. Oh, great work. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Um, I have some other stuff, but on that topic, because I can't type fast enough, Steph, we will talk. This is kind of once in a lifetime deal thing too. So I have to see. It's part job interview, part necessary. We'll see. Not necessarily, but just give me time to process. Because I have to admit, I'm a little phobic over this one. I had doctors freak out, and there, like I said, there's stuff going on you guys don't know about. So I have to be very, very careful. But yeah, if you enjoyed the Supernatural Defense, guys, I serve my patrons, I serve my supporters, folks like Steve and John. Uh, yeah. But sorry, we wow. I'm sorry. Some stuff just came through, and I've got a couple pieces of news. My brother had surgery. He's doing okay. Nothing to worry about. But it's one of those things I'm tracking, and a few other things are going on that I'm worried about. So if I suddenly drop my energy for a moment, just give me a second. It'll pass, and I'll come right back up to the rolling crescendo you've come to expect on a given Friday night. But yes, I take this serious because I've lost people to this bug, and as I said, yeah, he it was long delayed. It's all looking good. Just waiting to hear that he can come home, kind of deal. Uh, so yeah, guys, I am. Someone once asked me, what sin would I go to heck for if I were, and I said deception. Room got quiet because most people, as you know, I play everything with my sleep. It's like, what do you mean? I said two words: I'm fine. A lot of times I'm not. But here's the trick: if you can't change it, you keep rolling. And then when you can't roll, then you deal with it. But yeah, and how I roll is serving you guys. It's being there to distract and dissuade from bad insanity towards good insanity. Um, build up ideas. Now, I said we have the Saber stuff, which I got into a little bit. It's been delayed, but we're getting there. Um, the new plastic trainer is not out yet, and there are no new deal of the days that I can see worth discussing there. There are some companies you guys might want to watch. I believe it's called Wu Jia. Make some really nice trainers. They are obviously I believe, Chinese firm. They may be Taiwanese, but I want to say Chinese firm. And they've made some gorgeous trainers. They're really kind of trying to go after cold steel. So for the folks, look, it's a good time. I do want to, because as commented, whoop, um, thank you, John. John, I'm sorry, I got caught up in some of the things. Swakhammer Metals is drawing up new designs and developing ideas for when the shop reopens. Once the shop opens, I will take on project work and commissions. That's huge, guys, because John can do some really beautiful stuff. He's responsible for, and it's not beautiful anymore to most of you, but this triple knuckle duster, I actually had people try to pull rank and say I didn't deserve to have something like this back in the old glory days of the Republic. But we all know that it doesn't matter. I knew a craftsman who could make something beautiful, and he did. So yes, please, as soon as he's rolling fully, I'm going to be pushing that. I know Steve Clausen has some great things in the works. And as soon as that's rolling, I'll be pushing that. Who knows? Maybe you guys will interact. I have a couple ideas that are borderline gnomish in that things I'd like to see, but I don't want to talk about them because people will still steal my ideas. Just a second. Okay. Sorry about that. We have a lot going, and that's that, guys. I get this with the rising tide, folks. 2020 has messed a lot of people up. It has been a shank from behind at that sweet spot 45-degree angle. But folks, I am seeing people choose that when the tension lets go, when you have a moment when you can do it, they're doing stuff. Businesses, the sole proprietors are starting to creep up. The indie publishers, the writers, the authors, the swordsmen. I get contacted by people who are, well, I got stuck in my house, so I'm drilling. Yes, drill, baby, drill. I never thought you'd hear me saying that. But get yourself a sword simulating object if you don't have a sword. If you're looking for sword stuff, tell me what you're looking for. I will always be happy to advise for the most economic, options. I made a drill joke. Well, I made a drill comment. I'm getting drill jokes. I am not surprised by this. It just means that life is right and just for all of us. That the we all do, Steve. We all miss drilling, both literally and figuratively. But the tremors are better than they've been. I mean, they're still visibly there, but I'm working on it, and I'm doing things, and we're going to just move forward. And I suppose it's a good time to ask this. I have a couple people. I have Steve. I have Steph. And I know that you can get related to folks like not related, although with our group, who knows, to people like Trey and Joey and the others, Jim. I do have a question for you, and I want honest answers, and it doesn't need to come across this forum, but would the instruction of somebody who may not still be physically able to, I'm sorry about that, Steve, do everything they did still be of value to you guys? Or would you prefer that to just cut out and just be in a more, like this, advisory role? I don't, I fight against the things I'm afraid of, and I fight against the things that are possibilities, but I'm also a realist at the same time. So I want you guys to think about that. Because while I do want practices to come out, whatever comes of the next, we'll say 4 weeks, I know any practice will be dramatically different. Hopefully I can get some things together and it will be like it was and beautiful. If not, then we'll adapt if you guys are still interested when, again, all this comes back. But yeah, so pass that along, put it out on the, send me replies on the private guild group for the folks who come face to face. There is, guys, a public group, which as long as you're obviously not a bot, I'll let you on. You can talk to the people you see in the comments here. And please, if you're watching these videos, especially on a night like this where I've kind of gone way off the rails, be sure to turn on the chat so you can see who's saying what when, or else I sound like I am, I don't know, schizophrenic. And of the many things I am not schizophrenic. Stephanie, mistyped something. Guys, one thing, if you ever get to encounter me, I am the world's worst typist. I was before I had problems. And typing with thumbs that don't always register on the touch screen, fast so I don't lose what I'm thinking, sometimes just goes. So we understand, and we love you for communicating, okay? Accidents happen, no biggie. But yeah, I'm not. Yeah, tech hates me. Tech hates me with a passion. I have actually considered getting a grounding strip to wear. Oh, that's wonderful news, John. John Meyer says, do have news. December 22nd, heading back to home base and the shop. John works gigs that take him abroad for long periods of time, in country and out of country at the points. He goes everywhere and does everything. But him coming back to his base means that things will go from discussed to manifest. And that's really exciting news. And we really need exciting news. We are wow. My stutter is getting really good tonight, but this is great. And I know I think I'm going to have to wind it down tonight a bit early, in part because tomorrow's my wedding anniversary, and Mandy and I will have been married 18 years and together 20. You don't see that often. So I probably shouldn't be out as late as I normally am chatting with you guys. Not that I'm not having a blast, but between that and some of the messages I'm going, I think I might just call it a little short. Oh, well, I'll hold up. I will hold up because we got the amazing Joe Dog McKeel, and I got the Stare of Doom, so I'll keep going. Thank you. Yes. Hi, Joe. I am so sorry. I was actually supposed to try to contact him to be on one of his programs. I think his is Stupid O'Clock. Thank you. But I had friended several people, and I lost his last name of McKeel, so I was looking for this Joe Dog, and I'm like, I thought he said he was going to friend me. One of those, I'd been up way too many. You start doing 2 or 3 shows a week, and it starts to get to you. I don't know how Brian K. Morris was able to do a show every morning and shows at night and live cons. It blew my mind. But yes, I will tell Mandy you love her. I will definitely tell Mandy you love her, and I will totally keep the smile of where I could take that comment. Sedate. We're going to keep it down to here. Don't like that here. No, right here. Right? Okay. But, yeah. Nope, I got a message. Let's see. A magician friend of mine is sending jokes and tricks, and it's really cool. Geez, Joe. Did a 40. Yeah, I heard he did a 49-hour straight show last weekend. Yeah, John, you did have to bounce at my wedding. After a fashion. I had to have certain things in place because of people, and we still had hilarity. Hi, Steve. But yes, we like I said, the show may get cut a little early because of that. That's also part of why I was so scattered. I take such things serious. I had been a little annoyed about some shipping issues because it looked like something I had ordered for her was going to be late, and it wasn't. So all is well. She actually got it early because I have no tolerance. If I have something good to give somebody, I want to give it to them right now and repetitively. But yeah, I married your daughter. Yeah, I've done right. 18 years on the line with the doom of Damocles hanging over my head in the form of a huge Scotsman. with a great sword in one hand and a 12-gauge shotgun in the other. No, uh, normal folks. Let's see. What else is on the menu today? Because there was a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about, and I'm having a bit of brain fart. Oh, yeah, I know this is one of those where I'm supposed to be asking you questions. I need to know what kind of weapons you guys want me to make proxies of during this downtime so that we can work on. Congratulations, Joe! 33 years. Jeez. That's, wow. Like, seriously, see, guys, we got positivity going right now. We have, wow, okay, pardon my, okay, let me do that. That might help. Sorry, I have the world's worst Wi-Fi in one of the windiest parts of the nation, so occasionally my quality goes from subpar to straight up potato, and I appreciate you guys bearing with it. I need to know what you guys want me to review. I need to know things you guys want me to look into, okay? Because I serve my community. I serve the Historical Fencing Guild, and I want to make sure you guys are doing your drills too. Well, Steve, second, third, you just keep trying until you find the right one, and who knows, I don't know what I'm allowed to discuss on that subject and what I should on the venue, so I'm going to just take it and smile and kind of let that bird fly. No. What? I'm sorry. I just got a live feed call through right now, so I have to check things out. I'm on my last one mainly because I'm too old to train a new one. I'll tell you this, and it's true. I saw Mandy the first time. It was club call out for the SCA at PNC. That's Purdue North Central before it became Purdue Bavarian Motor Works or whatever it is now. The satellite branch up in Westville, Indiana. And I walked in, and I had pursued the group because I had seen originally a rather busty redhead fencing someone who looked like a werewolf. And I came in with my then friend, and I looked across this cafeteria on campus in the LSF building, and there's a rows of table, and there's this little brunette sitting in the middle. And I said, hey. He goes, yeah. You see that brunette over there? Yeah. And as I'm saying that, this gong goes off in my mind. It sounds stupid, but absolute doom. I just like a finale. It sounds nuts. And I said, I think I'm going to spend the rest of my life with her. I hope she's nice. It's been 20 years together, 18 married, and I'm still working on that. Is she nice? No, I'm kidding. She's the most wonderful woman in the world, and I will admit that every day so I don't die. No, I'm kidding again. I'm terrible, but no. She and Xander are my world. Absolutely the basis upon which I build my entire life and the only way I could function. I couldn't imagine, like, emotionally, mentally, physically, socially, girl like that doesn't come by every dynasty, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and I get just a little bit sappy about it. But if I'm gonna pick something to be sappy about, I think being sappy about my own wife is probably a good idea. I mean, that's a good sign, right? Yeah, that's a good sign. But I am going to cut it a little early. Normally I go till 10 o'clock, but I want to spend a little extra time with her tonight. Lead up and hang out with Xander. I mean, it probably means Minecraft, but Yeah. Thank you. And please, every week I come on and I talk about swords. I talk about sword fighting. I answer your questions interactively, either in your training or pop culture or historical. If I don't know one, I will do something you will hear almost no one else online do. I'll say, I don't know, and then I'll roll with it. But guys, I want to thank you guys. These Friday chats are some of the most important things in my life right now, aside from obviously my family. And it's what lets me keep in talk chats with you. I hope it's uplifting. I hope it's building you up. That's what I do. I'm going to do one more set of reminders. The Historical Fencing Guild's live stream video is brought to you by The Simple Sword, by me. Folks, this for folks who don't know, folks who've had I wrote this manual to be accessible for anyone. I keep the price as low as Amazon will let me, given its content and layout. I use simple English stick figures so that anyone can pick this up and learn. If you will put in the hours, this will give you the basics of swordplay. I'm not going to lie and say, this will make you a master of the secret art. No, this will give you a basis. It's a Rosetta Stone, but for people across different disciplines. And well, Carl, I appreciate that. I really do. And it's just tomorrow's my anniversary, pal. And I know you understand because your wife is as scary as mine. So, God, I will see you guys next week. And I am sorry it's cutting out this late. But I want to thank my patrons, Cindy Kep, who it's her second. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's her second 25th anniversary. I want to thank Brian K. Morris. I want to thank Steve Augusto. I want to thank I said Cindy Kep, Steve Clausen, John Miner. Like I said, unfortunately, I'm cutting a half hour early this week because of the anniversary thing. So guys, catch the rerun. Have a wonderful night. Be good to each other, and as always, support your local swordmaster.